welcome to Disc Review. I'm your host, Jean Filipiak. This session is going to be broken down into two sections. The first section is reviewing your behavioral and allowing yourself to regroup and expand on your knowledge of understanding this specific language. The behavioral language is a body language. It is an observable language, neutral and universal. We use this language for professional development and self-awareness. We can use this information and this knowledge to help us uncover and work with individuals if you're on a job search or if you're currently in a team, if you're a manager or a leader, or if you're looking to conduct an interview. Today, as we go through these next few slides, I wanted for everyone to have their assessments in front of them so we can go through it and you can write your own notes side by side. For today's purposes, this is being recorded. There won't be any audience participation. However, if there are questions, you're more than welcome to email me at jean@apasolutions.com. So last week we discussed and gave you the fundamentals of understanding the DISC language, and this is the review for that. And then part two is how does this relate to occupations within an organization. So starting with the dimensions and what they stand for, dominance, if you recall, is the D factor. It's how you handle problems and challenges. I is the I factor, how you handle people and influence others to see your point of view. S is steadiness, and it's how you handle change and pace of the environment. C stands for compliance, and how you handle policies and procedures set forth by others. So you learn the fundamentals and you learn the characteristics of what makes a high D. Now what we're going to be looking at is, from an observable standpoint, what can we expect? So a high D, who can be considered a conductor, their style is that you're going to see that their voice is strong, clear, confident, and fast-paced. They're loud, and their body language is they will use direct eye contact. They may point fingers, and they lean towards you. Their emotion is anger. Their fear is being taken advantage of. Their need is to direct, and what they're looking for are results. Now keep in mind, when you're working with a D or you're interviewing a D, someone who you can see from an observable standpoint can handle problems. They want to see those results. Words that are not going to work for them are follow my directions, in my opinion, or frequent interruptions. Now, words that do work, such as win, lead the field, results, now, new, and challenge, a high D is going to be very receptive to this. So if you're conducting an interview with the high D, you want to make sure that you frame your questions and your statements as it relates to utilizing these adjectives. I is a promoter. They have the ability to get people to see their point of view. These individuals are going to be very animated, friendly, may ramble with their explanations. Their volume is fairly loud, and their body language is you're going to see them smiling a lot and have very expressive gestures. As we're going through these general characteristics, you want to start thinking about individuals in your life that demonstrate these specific characteristics. Their emotion, as you recall from last week, is optimism. They have trust. They have fear of social rejection. They need to interact, and they look for the experience. So when you're interviewing with a high I, you want to make sure that you are genuinely having a strong interaction with them, having small talk, if you will, with them, and showing a mutual optimistic behavioral style. Words that work for an I is fun, exciting, I feel, sociable, this will make you look good. And words that don't work, and keep this in mind, is the same for everybody. Sophisticated, requires study, and theoretically. Moving on to the S as a reminder, this is the pace of the environment. A high S person is going to have, their style is going to be very low voice and tone. They're going to be warm. Their volume of talk is going to be soft. Their body language will have small hand gestures compared to an I, and they're going to be very relaxed and non-emotional. The emotions of an S, if you recall, is non-emotional. And then their fear is loss of security. Their needs, they love to serve. They need to be harmonious. They need to be the caretakers. They need to be the coordinators. And they're looking for security. Words that work for an S is step by step, help me out, guarantee, promise, think about it. Words that don't work is innovation, play to win. The C style, analyzer, you're going to see little to no modulation. They're precise, cool, or aloof. Now their volume is quite quiet. So it's not as if when you're talking to a C that they may give you that impression that they are aloof or they don't care, when deep down they're just listening and processing compared to the D's and the I's. Their body language is very few hand gestures, direct eye contact, and they're in control. They like to be in control. Their emotion, if you recall from last week, is fear. And then their fear is fear of their criticisms of their work. They're very protective of their work. And then they have a need for procedures and following a process. And they look for proof and evidence. Hence, they're detail-oriented. Hence, they're very analytical. They're math and science-driven individuals. Words that work for a C is here are the facts, proven, analysis, guaranteed. Words that don't work is untested, cutting edge, educated guess, or experimental. So when you look at today in the review and reviewing your own assessment, I want you now to think of some people you know at work, at school, at home, that you interact with on a regular basis, that you now can recognize having a D, an I, an S, or a C. Your in-class assignment, and what I want you to bring next week, is identifying who those people are. So who in your life is a D, who in your life is an I, who in your life is an S, and who in your life is a C. The more you practice this observable language, the more you're going to be able to utilize it to your advantage and then change the way you communicate to individuals, change the way you interview, being a hiring authority or someone who's interviewing for a job, the more you're able to enhance that level of communication. So from this webinar, please be prepared next week to, on a sheet of paper, typed out, identify who in your life is a D, I, S, or C. So I need 4 individuals that you work with or engage with on a regular basis that you can identify with. So what we're going to be moving on to is recognizing and understanding and applying this information. Keep in mind, behavior styles may vary widely. It is also very important not to read just one signal or jump to conclusions. One of the 4, the D, I, S, or C factors, will be your Achilles heel, will be a strength of yours or an obstacle as you are in the hiring manager role and or if you are in the interview process. If others feel a sense of rapport has been established, they will be more likely to want to interact or spend time with you. That's why this level of self-awareness and this level of being able to utilize this information to enhance communication and that interpersonal conversation that you'll be having during the interview process is so important. So now as you look at this insight wheel, we saw this last week, but now you actually have some terminology painted around the wheel where you're seeing the insights and the words that come with these specific behavioral style as you move from quadrant to quadrant. Now, this is the value that specific dimensions bring to the team. So when you're in a situation where you are needing to share what your value is to the team, you can use these adjectives to enhance and heighten your candidacy. So a high C connects with the plan. A high S, it likes to implement that plan. The relator likes to promote those ideas along with the I. And then the persuader gets people getting results through people. And then D loves getting results. So as part of your in-class assignment, and what I would like you to do is print out this page, and I want you to go through this case study and identify what behavioral style makes up this individual, and we'll go through that the next time we meet. So we're going to go through case study 2, read it, and identify what you believe is the dimensions of this individual. There's one primary in here, but if you feel like there's a combination of dimensions, feel free to share that. We're going to be talking about this the next time we get together. Case study 3. Do you recognize this person? Once again, we need to identify what the behavioral style is for case study 3. So if an individual is highly competitive, someone egotistical, and is always looking for a new challenge, what's the immediate thought process? The more you engage and start learning and observing these behaviors, the more we're going to enhance your ability to communicate with other styles that are similar or different than yours. And we're going to go through case study 4, case study 6, and then we're back to appreciating others. So the appreciating the differences of others. So once you start identifying these styles within other people, you are able to enhance that communication. So appreciating others. What tendencies do other people exhibit that you wish were easier for you to exhibit, and why? How would this affect your performance on the job or in an interview? Once again, please write your answers down and then bring that to our next week's session. Millennials in the workplace. So many types of jobs, people, cultures. What's your place in the workplace? An inside look of Facebook. This is where we're going to conclude this part of the recording of this webinar, so you can work on your identification of those behavioral styles, and then I will send another link as it relates to this specific What's Your Place in the Workplace second session.